There are three issues that I think are important when we think about policy perspectives on water governance and especially wastewater governance. The first one is dealing with policies designed to increase water access. The second one is policies that help us deal with water insecurity. That is, the risk that people will not have enough water to access, even though there is a human right to water inscribed in the Mexican Constitution since April of 2012. And this is a result of a global norm that was developed in July of 2010. The third issue that is important is that we deal with closing the hydrological gap. That means that we need to think about ways in which we do water treatment and wastewater treatment in an integrated way, and that we govern them as well in a way that closes the hydrological cycle. In the case of water governance, we need to think about the fact that the supply of public sanitation and public water service delivery is done at the local level. However, water is usually managed at the federal level because it's owned by the nation. So that means that both for water and wastewater governance, we need to think about ways in which we create models of governance where the relationships between the federation, the state, and the municipalities are robust. That is what is called networked, multi-level, polycentric governance. As I and other scholars have suggested, polycentric governance can be a good model for water governance, and one of the tests that we need to focus on thinking about is whether or not polycentric governance can also work for wastewater. What my own research has shown is that it can, but it can do so only when municipalities are empowered and when citizens also participate in these multi-stakeholder roundtables, the river basin councils. Traditionally, women have been carrying the burden of water governance. Women have to walk sometimes even up to 15 kilometers a day to fetch water and to transport it to their houses, particularly in developing countries. Also, women share disproportionately the burden of being affected by lack of sanitation and facilities, leading to risk of increased violence and sexual assault. So what I think is important is that we bring women into wastewater and water governance from the design of public policy. That means including them not only in the traditional design of policies, but also on wastewater and water governance circles. That means in the multi-stakeholder roundtables called the river basin councils. The problem is that river basin councils are often not the best vehicle for empowerment and participation in water governance. So what I suggest is that when we design them, we make sure that we also include a gender lens and gender balance for the implementation of these river basin council governance models. Over 950 million people do not have access to the dignity of a toilet. That means that of the 2 billion point one that we have of people who don't have access to safe sanitation and sources of water, more than 900 million need to deal with open defecation. Open defecation refers to having to relieve themselves and excrete feces directly into the soil. That affects women even more so because they need to menstruate also in the open, risking the risk of violence, physical violence, and sexual violence increases. This is why we need to really rethink the way in which we do sanitation and wastewater governance, not only to include policy instruments that implement better sanitation and better toilet management and implementation in infrastructure, but also deal with the specific needs that women have with regards to menstrual hygiene management.